Jordan Payne, I am joined with
Mickey Traub.
So guys, we're from the Kingdom Center and we wanted to jump in and talk about marketing. I've got a list of the top 10 most requested questions that people have within our group, and we see them all over. We see them online, we see them on social media, on YouTube. A lot of people have bad information. The information is miscommunicated to people around marketing. So we're gonna jam on this here and get you guys some clarity. So the first question, how many campaigns should I try in my market before focusing in on one?
I would say you should focus on one, and it shouldn't be too large. You should focus on what we like to call a micro campaign in our community. And what you're really doing is you're trying to get one thing that works really well. And then you can expand that, you can stabilize that, you can grow that. But once you have one thing that's really rocking, then you can start to figure out what marketing is, especially when you're starting, and what that beast can be. Because if you're trying to juggle too many balls, too many plates at the same time, you can drop everything, and it's just not going to be a success.
I agree. So micro campaign means it's a very small campaign. It is meant to test the waters. Like you wouldn't go drop 10 grand on this. It's a micro campaign. So a couple $100 probably max. You're just trying to gather data. That's all you're trying to do. And then to Mickey's point, if you want to try something else after time has passed, you would split test. So you would add in another factor, another medium, and you would compare it versus what you've already been testing. So I completely agree. Number two, I don't have time to prospect the way I would like. What strategies work best for people with tight time restrictions? So yeah, I mean, guys, you're either going to have time or money. Those are the two currencies that really work in marketing. If you have more money, then you can probably eliminate some of the time. You could hire people, you can outsource a lot, you can automate a lot, and really just focus on the hottest leads. If you do not have time, or if you have more time than money, then yeah, you can go more bootstrap. It's going to require some effort.
Yeah, I would say don't sleep on your communicating with your network. There's a lot of people out there that are already doing things that you can just tag onto and learn from in the process. So that's a really smart way to get things moving pretty quickly.
The other thing to think about is like if you have a tight time restriction, like to his point, like why don't you find somebody that has more time? You know, it's like if you're busy working a job, if you're busy family stuff, but you can only dedicate a couple hours, find somebody else that has 10 hours a day or 5 hours a day. Do a joint venture, like whatever you need to do, but don't let that be a hindrance. Number three, how do I identify my target market and narrow down who I should go after? So when I hear the word market, what I think of is a location, a zip code, a city, a state. I think what we actually mean is how do I identify my avatar? Who should I go after? It's hard to create an avatar. It's really difficult to pursue something that you have no passionate about or any sort of, like you have to be able to relate to these people. So like probate as an example, I have a hard time relating to them because I've never gone through a probate process, nor have I had like a death in the family where there was real estate that needed to be left to somebody. I don't relate with that. Divorcees, I don't relate to that. The one that I actually relate to is landlords because I've had a lot of interaction with landlords. So I would say first and foremost is like, yeah, who can you relate to? You know, divorced people. I don't know, maybe that's a niche for you because you've experienced it. Maybe you want to be divorced.
As far as identifying your market, my thing I would add to that is that start local. Like there's no reason, a lot of people are doing a lot of virtual wholesaling, stuff like that. That should only be considered if you don't have 250,000 people, 20,000 people in your hometown. Let's talk about that. But the reality is that you've already got connections, you've already got people, and you've already got skills and skill sets in that local environment that don't transfer to other places. So why are you looking elsewhere when you've got some opportunities in your backyard?
I also think it's BS because I lived in a town of like 3,000 people, Columbus, Montana, and like we did deals all the time. There was like literally like only 2 people that bought. This is easy. This is really easy. This one's interesting. So how can I make my business more visible for inbound calls? There's a lot of ways. I've got 57 ideas.
More visible for more inbound calls. That can start with, it really comes back to your budget and what you're able to be capable of. I mean, we can come to a bunch of solutions, but I would say things like monetizing your environment. So like putting a wrap or a magnet on your car, making it known. That's something that really easy, pretty cheap that you can do that gets you kind of in motion. Get your phone ringing. Bandit signs are a really good opportunity. We've done a gorilla sticker campaign, gotten a little bit of trouble with it, but it was really successful. So we would take stickers and I'll just say it, but we totally definitely had a gorilla sticker campaign. That I'll also say that if you're looking into getting your phone to ring, the more you put your number out there and the more places you put your number, the more opportunities you're going to have for people to call you.
100%. And like you got to figure figure out why would somebody want to call you? How are you communicating? So like the best stuff that we've done is like we've given out a free guide for sale by owner. Hey, if you want to sell your house yourself without a real estate agent and you don't want to spend all of the effort and time and money on an agent, like here's a guide on how to do it yourself. Just name, phone number, email, goes into a campaign through like Go High Level or a different CRM. Text automations go out. My point is that is why they're giving me their information. Right? That's how they're getting into their system, is I've given something of value. So a lot of this stuff you probably even use like AI nowadays. Create articles, create value, give it out for free in exchange for somebody's number, then get them into an automation, and that's going to increase your exposure and all of that significantly. Actually kind of goes into the next question: is online presence important? Yes and no. I think a lot of people have it in their mind that like, oh, I need like this like really awesome Facebook page and like a TikTok. They spend all of their time, energy, and effort building something that really nobody cares about. The seller just wants help. They're in a bad situation. They're drowning and they want somebody to come save them. To date, on my main real estate businesses like Quartz Kingdom, Stillwater Equity, back in Montana, we never had a website. We never had a social media. We never had a Facebook page and Instagram. None of that. We had zero online presence, period. But everybody had mail from us. Everybody had gotten a text or a phone call, or we've knocked on their door. So everybody knew who we were without social media.
For our side of the fence over here, we do have those social media points, but they're not something we actively engage in. We're not seeking to create a whole environment around us socially. We're out there helping people, and the more time that we can spend structuring deals to help people, those are the situations that are going to come fruitful. The biggest thing that we see actually is people forwarding our information or calling us 2 years later, hey, my neighbor's now having this issue, hey, you solved this for me, this referral, this thing. Those will go a lot further and be a way higher quality if you have a person-to-person referral.
How much money should I start with for a solid campaign, and then when do I decide to scale up beyond that?
You can get a campaign started for $100 and see success, but you're going to have to do, it goes back to the time versus money continuum. If you're starting with $100 in your pocket, you're going to be spending a lot of time on the pavement, knocking on doors, picking up your phone, doing those types of things. You have $1,000, it's going to automate a couple things for you. It's going to allow you the opportunity to duplicate yourself a little bit more and get you to the point where you can be in more places. So it's going to help. But at the end of the day, I would say it really comes back to what your budget is comfortable with and what you as an individual are comfortable with spending over a 3 to 6 month period on a marketing system so that you can get a consistent setup and then grow from there.
People with $1,000 example got $1,000, they throw all 1,000 into one campaign. They do not see a result and they're like, this didn't work. It really should have been like a 250, 250, 250, 250, so that you have multiple touch points, like the whole thing. So there is strategy that goes into this that you just have to know. Don't go blow all your money, especially if you've like worked hard to save that up. Don't go blow it. Be a little bit more strategic and tactical with it. 100%. Most effective way you found to get more serious leads. Keep in mind that when you communicate, and this is like my least favorite, it's like I buy houses cash or I buy houses. That is literally going to attract people that just want as much money as they can. Oh, you're sitting on a pile of cash. This is great. You know, my house is worth 100. I'm going to ask for 120. In my opinion, that's not specific enough. So you want to both, like you want to be attracting and pushing away people at the exact same time. So like when I do a marketing campaign, if I want somebody that's serious, I will say, look, we are real estate investors that are trying to make a profit. Okay, well now I'm not going to go like crazy, or if somebody's trying to go crazy, they're not going to actually approach it that way. We might say, look, we only buy distressed properties that are in need of repairs. Okay, well if I have a pristine property that is like immaculate, stuff like that. So like you want to be communicating to who you want, but also being very upfront. Now you're going to get less leads, but you're going to get quality leads. I don't want to waste my time with everyone that's like, oh my gosh, like cash offer. If you're just offering to make an offer, everybody's going to want an offer.
And to your point, less is more. And I see people coming off the gate a lot that are just like, hey, I need anyone that's looking for something, I'm going to send out offers. Make that a part of your daily system, then that's one thing. But that's a larger system. If at the beginning of the journey and you're really trying to figure out how to grow, then you need to focus on quality, not quantity. And that's going to make the biggest difference, especially in the beginning. Push away the things that you don't want to deal with. Spray some off and get the repellent on. Only work with the things that you want to work with so you can focus on those things.
Last one, Mr. Marketing Magic. What is list stacking and how is it relevant? How do we use it? My version of it, or how I would explain it to somebody, is a lot of times somebody that has one problem has multiple problems. As an example, let's say that you are looking for tired landlords. They might also have a code violation because the tenant didn't mow the yard or whatever. They didn't take down their Christmas light. There's 15 parked cars in the front that don't run. You could have a tired landlord that also has code violations from the city. Oftentimes you would also find that person maybe behind on their taxes because they're a tired landlord. Maybe the tenant isn't paying. So that's an example of stacking, is like you would want to find multiple things that somebody would have, in this case that are negative. They would be on multiple lists or have multiple problems.
I think that this goes directly back to the previous question. List stacking is higher quality data so that you're not wasting your time. It's finding a way to take those same leads and dividing them out so that you've got your 5-star leads, your 4-star leads, your 3-star leads. 5-star lead has a bunch of problems going on. They probably want to sell. That's a higher probability. Your 1-star leads are the people that got in line because you told them there's a line and they want an offer on their house. And by stacking the problems and combining them together, you're creating a differential between your data. You're making your life easier. You're making your lead collection easier. You're making your lead to contract smaller number.
Couldn't agree more. Guys, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, check out our free community. I think you can find it directly on our website, www.thekingdomrealestate.com. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully this was helpful, and we'll talk to you soon.